What is up, Insaners? And welcome to the Game Week 6 deadline stream. How are you guys doing? Welcome again, all of you. It's just been a couple of days again, and we are back again with another game week. I'll- lots to discuss, lots to do. A lot of people are confused in terms of what to do with their teams, with their players. Of course, we've got certain information, we've got some information about what's going to happen. Maybe some rotation will happen this week. Last week, it didn't happen as much, and a lot of people were kind of expecting that to happen. And it was a little easier to kind of see on the field in terms of what players played and how many minutes they played. I think it was pretty surprising to all of us. This week, it could be absolutely crazy, and we could have we're absolutely wrong in terms of our picks, in terms of our captaincy. I've also been tinkering, of course, with apart from the technical difficulties that I had to kind of sort out. I also was thinking about the team consistently, and in terms of what to do, and which players kind of to go for, what to do in terms of captaincy as well. I also switched at the last minute, but let's see. We still have some time to go. Let's see if I can probably think about it again and make the switch to Salah again, maybe for that matter. But again, welcome to all of you. I hope you've had a good couple of days. I hope you're ready for Game Week 6. Lots of exciting, interesting football to come, and I think it's gonna be a great week. Hello to you, Nigel. Welcome to the stream. Hey to Brian as well. Hello to you. Nigel, you've shared your team. It's Ramsdale, Trent, Cancelo, Johnny, Nico Williams, Salah, Pascal Gross, Gordon. Gordon, I think did really really well last week, right? And that amazing shout and amazing pick for that matter. Of course, the fixtures are tricky and tough and all of that stuff, but he's been doing decently well for Everton. Subs, you have Ward, Pereira, and Shar. So you've gotten gross for Rodrigo, which is absolutely fine. 3.1 million in the bank. That's a lot of money, in fact, to kind of make some changes in case if you want to change maybe a Johnny to somebody else. Maybe if you, Nico Williams is still a very good option to go for. But yeah, having some money just helps you with even upgrading picks like, let's say, for example, a Gordon, for example. If you want to upgrade him maybe to somebody else, that also kind of gives you that option. But decent team, lots and lots of money in the bank, and I hope you are able to use it in the right way. Trippier Brighton defense for next 3 game weeks. That's a very interesting one, and it's a very close one, to be very honest. I've been in two minds throughout the week or throughout the last couple of days in terms of which defense to go for. It So Newcastle defense, I would probably not consider, as you said correctly, right? Trippier, because of the attacking threat, because of the attacking potential that he can give us, I think he's still a great option to go for. When you see Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Bournemouth, I still feel are a team to target when we are talking about even attacking defenders or defenders, premium defenders, etc. Uh, Having said that, West Ham is still a tough fixture, so I'm not very sure about West Ham because I feel that Trippier can concede in that game because West Ham have the capability to score in that game. But on the same side, or on the other hand, for example, I think West Ham can even concede because their defense hasn't looked that strong. So Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, it looks a little tricky when we come to the Brighton defense. Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace, it just feels slightly better, and it also depends on which player or which defender you're going for. If you're taking a punt or taking a risk on maybe some of the lesser known or lesser owned players, maybe Trippier is slightly better. But I think in terms of pure clean sheet potential, I think Brighton's definitely slightly better. I still feel Leicester can score. It's not that they can't. Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, yeah, slightly better, I would say. It's not a huge difference, and considering that any team can concede against any team, yeah, so it's actually quite close, and I'll still go for a Leicester, for a Brighton defender, sorry, over the next 3 weeks. I've also switched captain to Haaland, but yeah, I've also switched captaincy to Haaland. It's not been very last minute, to be very honest, because I've been thinking about switching the captaincy or giving it to Haaland in the first place. Went safer with Salah, but I think, and this could be a week where Haaland gets rested, and we have mud on our faces where Pep has literally spoiled our FPL and our game week as well. But that could easily happen. Having said that, I think there's still a chance that Haaland starts because he has been getting those 60, 65 odd minutes. So he's getting some decent rest. Considering that Alvarez also started and played majority of the game last time around, there is a chance that probably Haaland starts in that position. So because of that, Haaland substitution and the Alvarez start last week, I'm just a little bit more confident than I probably should have been. And I think because of that, I'm slightly tilting towards Haaland. In terms of potential, I still feel Haaland has definitely greater potential than a Salah against Everton. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Salah is a bad pick or he's a bad option, but I think there is more potential in Erling Haaland this week as compared to Salah, who's been kind of in and out there. He's been getting assists. We saw in the last game he wasn't really, there was not a lot of significant goal threat that he was providing. And I mean, it's a bit tricky to kind of understand what Liverpool is doing at the moment because they look a bit all over the place. Having said that, I still feel they're a good attack, they're a good team, they will score goals. But yeah, I mean, with Nunes back as well now, Jota has also come back. I don't think so Salah's place is in danger in any capacity. But yeah, I mean, with all of these key elements moving around, with their defenders missing, injuries, etc., I still feel maybe Haaland is probably better. Confused between Haaland and Kane, captain. So Haaland and Kane both are a little riskier because Kane is, of course, a differential option. Your rank is 78k overall, and twice have missed Haaland captaincy. I mean, I think captaining Haaland is okay. Yes, it comes with a risk. So if he gets benched, I mean, absolutely don't get surprised or don't get angry because there is still a chance of him getting benched. A lot of people are deducing this that this might not happen because of XYZ reasons, but at the end of the day, it's Pep, and only he knows what he's gonna do, right? So there are absolutely chances that Haaland can get rested, but yeah, I mean, over the two options, I would still say it's Haaland for sure. Gordon could get more, but I mean, yeah, he does. He has a tendency of taking those yellow cards, and because of which, I mean, it becomes a bit trickier to own him. Having said that, he's still looking like that central figure for Everton. Now, when Neil Mope, if he's when or whenever he's registered, etc., and when he plays for Everton, I think then it'll be a bit interesting because we'll kind of see the dynamic of how Gordon is playing, because right now Gordon definitely looks like the best attacker or the most central attacker in the Everton team. And with Neil Mope, that could absolutely change. So I think because of his introduction, because of Mope's transfer into the team, I think there could be a slight change in Gordon's output. But again, I think it'll be an interesting watch considering that Gordon has been playing really, really well for Everton. I think that form could still continue. Who's your favorite Ramsdale replacement? There are a few, to be very honest. You can absolutely go for a Brighton, keeper. You can go for Sanchez in case if you don't have a Lewis Dunk, if you don't have an Estupinan, I think that's the name. If you don't have these sort of players, if you don't have a defender basically from Brighton, I think you can absolutely go for Sanchez. There is high clean sheet potential. I'm not saying that he's gonna keep clean sheets in every game. Of course, he's not. But there is potential in clean sheets. He can still make saves and get you save points. I mean, it might not be as high as Raya or maybe a Henderson as well, who are also potential options. But I still feel because of him or because of Sanchez having a slightly higher clean sheet potential, I still feel he's the slightly better option to go for. But again, if you feel that you probably are looking at a keeper who's making a lot more saves, because that also might help in bonus points, etc. as well, if they keep a clean sheet, then I think the next best option would have to be Raya, followed by Henderson. I think these three are the ones that you should probably look at. I don't think so. I mean, when you can get a Trippier, in that sort of price range for Newcastle, I probably won't go for Nick Pope, though Nick Pope is also a decent option. I've already made the transfer and thinking of getting Estupinan for Game Week 7 and Johnny out. I mean, yeah, that's a potential route. If Brighton look like they will keep clean sheets and they are decent in defense, I think it's a decent road to go towards. Would you do Cucurella to Neko and Neto to Trossard for two free transfers? Leaves me, I mean, it does leave you with no money. So there's no flexibility at all in terms of maybe if you are falling short by a million, point one, point two, not even a million is a lot of money. If you're falling short by that sort of money, it kind of leaves you a little bit in the air because you might not be able to get the players that you want. But I think I mean, Kukurea to Neko definitely gives you some money to kind of make that adjustment. Nico Williams is actually a decent option to go for. You can easily play him in slightly easier games as well. I mean, we've all seen his attacking threat is immense. And again, I don't really have a lot of hope from the Forest team to give me clean sheets or give us clean sheets. But I still feel, I mean, there could be some odd clean sheets coming our way. Having said that, I think he's still a good option to go for. In case if you want to save some money, and in case if you're okay, maybe going a little bit more safer, maybe Pascal Gross is also an option. I know Trossard is a great differential to go for, to be very honest. Though the attacking stats for most of the numbers have been slightly better for Pascal Gross, especially when you talk about expected goal involvements, expected goals, expected assists. So you can go a bit safer with Pascal Gross as well. Save that money, save some money, and then have that money in your bank to give you that flexibility. That's also an option. But in case if you want to do this move, I think it's a good move to go for. Trossard is a really good differential to go towards, and I think not a lot of people are thinking in terms of Trossard because you have the likes of Harrison again, who's also not very popular, but you also have Pascal Gross, who I think majority of the people are kind of looking towards. In any case, a lot of people already had him, but then now with the Rodrigo injury, I think he's definitely one of the most significant options to kind of go towards. So I think it definitely gives you that slight differential option, and I think Trossard could do really well. Bailey to whom 0.8 million in the bank. Bailey's 4.8 if I'm not wrong. Let me just quickly check it. Yes, Bailey's 4.7 right now. So assuming that it's 4.7 for you as well, 0.8, which will give you 5.5 million. 5.5 million, I think, gives you a few options as well. I mean, you can go for Addison. On the top of my head, Addison, I mean, he's still not the best option to go for, but I think he could be a decent pick to go for. I don't know if you have Pereira or not. Otherwise, Pereira is also a good option. I think he's probably the best option, who's a lot cheaper as well. But I'm assuming you might have Pereira. Um, Almiron is an interesting option. I again don't. I have not really seen a lot of people going for Almiron, but Almiron having decent amount of fixtures, he's also getting a lot of game time. I mean, he's almost playing 80 to 85 minutes, even 90 minutes on one occasion. So there's probably a chance that Almiron could also do well. I know not a lot of people would be excited about that pick because he doesn't really tell you enough or do enough from a fantasy perspective. But I think Almiron could be decent. But if I have to go for a 5.5 million option, I think it probably will be uh you know uh Addison, because I don't really see any other options. I mean, Neto hasn't really done much. Jensen, I mean, you're spending 5.5, but you're not really getting a lot. Gordon is an option, I mean, at 5.5, but the next two fixtures are really, in fact, three fixtures are quite tricky. It's Liverpool at home, then Arsenal away, then West Ham at home. So all of these are tricky fixtures. So I probably won't go. If you have Gordon, I mean, it's fine, you can hold him, but I probably won't go towards Gordon right now. So yeah, I mean, there are not a lot of options, when you go very cheap. But I think Aronson could be decent. I mean, there is definite haul potential in Aronson, and I think he could be a decent option to go for. Ramsdale is back in training. I mean, if he's back in training, I've not read it though. I haven't really got the time to see a lot of news and information. But yeah, I mean, if he's back in training, then I think again, unless you really have a free transfer and you probably not or don't have anything else to do, you have two free transfers and you probably have one transfer to burn. I think in these kind of cases, you can still sell Ramsdale. I think selling Ramsdale, of course, it was also because of the injury or because of the injury scare that he had. But it's also because of the reason that Arsenal aren't really conceding a lot of shots. And it's very different from what a lot of people expected, because we've seen Arsenal last season conceding a lot of shots, on target. And Ramsdale has a tendency to get those, make those saves and get those save points. This season it's not happening. I mean, I don't think so. He's hardly or he's at all got any save points, to be very honest. I might be wrong. I'll quickly check that. Yeah, I mean, he's just made 8 saves so far, so he's not even got a single save point. In case if you don't have anything else to do and if you want to make that switch, I mean, I would probably make that switch maybe to a Brighton keeper, even to a Raya, for example. If you maybe are not, or if you already are having a Lewis Dunk, etc. I mean, you can even go for a Raya as well. So in case if you have other fires to put out, maybe just keep him, in your team. And I think he'll, of course, he'll start for Arsenal in most games. But there might be just slightly better value elsewhere where you can, downgrade to a different option. You can save a little bit money and maybe eke out a little bit more points. I mean, of course, it's all ifs and buts at the end of the day, because maybe Arsenal can just keep clean sheets, keep keeping clean sheets, and Ramsdale will keep giving you those 6 odd points. But yeah, I mean, it's actually a bit tricky. But yeah, I mean, if you have nothing else to do, go for that. Go for that move. Thoughts on playing five at the back? I have your same defense. I mean, it's still a good option if you have Gabriel and you're playing Gabriel. I think Gabriel against United is not going to be that easy. I'm not saying United all of a sudden are a great team and we'll keep hammering teams like Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. It's definitely not that. But the kind of improvement that we are showing in defense and slight improvement in attack, I still feel we are far off from what we probably have to go towards, or probably what would the aim be for Man United by the end of the season. I think they're still very far off from there, but I still feel Man United right now is not a fixture that, or probably doesn't look like a fixture at the moment where teams can come and hammer us by 4 or 5 goals. I know it happened for the first 2 weeks, and I know I'm basing my opinion on what I've seen in the next 3 weeks, but I still feel that's probably enough for me to tell that the team has kind of learned from mistakes, and I think it's going to be a tricky fixture. We can score goals as well. I mean, the attack has always been decent. We've not had players playing in the right positions, maybe in form. Getting injuries, of course, dressing room atmosphere and what's happening at the club and all that stuff is also there. Not going to get into that, but it's a decent. I mean, Gabriel is still a decent option to go for. I'm not very confident about the clean sheet, so it depends on who else do you have in your team. For example, I had the option of playing three strikers, and that kind of gives me a flexibility to probably not play five defenders because I can easily play, a 4-3-3 as you can see on the screen with Martinelli and Gross. Of course, I had Rodrigo, so I got in Pascal Gross, so I can easily make that switch. And I feel that there probably is a chance where United could even score against Arsenal and Gabriel. I'm not I'm not as confident as probably I was a couple of weeks back. If I had seen this fixture a couple of weeks back, I would have seen this fixture as maybe a clean sheet for Arsenal and attacking returns for the likes of Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus as well. Now, this might not happen this week around because United have definitely improved. Rodrigo to Zaha or Harrison. I think Zaha definitely has is the informed pick. So it's a balance, right? I mean, who do you go for? Do you go for the informed pick, the pick who's been playing really well for Crystal Palace? Yes, I understand that he has tough fixtures, but he's in form, and when a player is in form, there are high chances that even against the slightly trickier teams, he can score goals. Newcastle, Man United, Brighton, Chelsea, yes, they look tough. So if you feel that Zaha maybe is gonna blank in most of these fixtures and maybe he's not gonna get you points, then I think go Harrison. I still feel there is more FPL potential in a Zaha because of the fact that he's the talisman for that Crystal Palace team. Harrison is not that sort of a player. You have Sinistera, who did really well in the last game against Everton. You also have the likes of Aronson. Then you have Bamford coming in. Now, of course, Rodrigo is injured, but he was also a part of the conversation. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that there are multiple attackers that would probably be sharing those attacking returns. Leeds probably don't depend on just one player, maybe like a Bamford or a Rafinha anymore. They have some creative threat. They have some goal threat as well. So I think from an overall potential, I think Zaha is definitely better. But if you feel the fixtures are very tough and maybe he's gonna blank, I still feel Zaha is the one to go for. But in case if you feel that Harrison is easier fixtures, maybe he has slightly better haul potential, then Harrison is also a good option. Should I start Gabriel or Johnny? Wolves is playing South. I'll probably. I mean, there is a high chance that even Southampton can score against Wolves. But if I have an option, I'll probably start Johnny against Southampton. I know it's not ideal because Gabriel can also get a clean sheet. But as I said earlier, I just mentioned just a little bit just a time ago that Gabriel can concede against United, and that just makes me feel that probably Johnny is the slightly better option, though Wolves haven't also looked that great in defense. They're not really inspiring a lot of confidence, and there is still a chance that Southampton can do well because they have been playing decent in attack. It's just that their defense is quite open and they can't keep clean sheets, which is probably the problem with the Southampton team at the moment. Darwin is a differential captain. I mean, the expectation is that he will start the game. So it's a big risk. There is no denying that fact that it's not a risk keeping Darwin as or for captaincy this week. I mean, it's absolutely a big risk. But if you want to do things differently, if you feel that maybe he can give you a lot of points, maybe you are trying to do catch up, etc. I mean, depends on why you're thinking Darwin is a great option. But yeah, I mean, has the potential, but definitely risky. I personally still won't go there. But in case if you feel that he can give you points, absolutely go with your gut and go with him. Start with Harrison or Nico Williams. Um, So Nico Williams is playing Bournemouth. That's why the excitement there is a lot more. Brentford are still a slightly better team in terms of defense as well. They will also attack. It's a home game for Brentford. So out of the two, I still feel there is slightly more potential in a Nico Williams. I mean, Bournemouth haven't really looked that great in attack as well. So apart from the attacking threat that Nico Williams provides, there's also a potential for a clean sheet, and because of that, it just makes me feel that Nico Williams is probably the slightly better option this week. Hey Connor, hello to you. You lost a bet during preseason and I'm not allowed to make a transfer, and you won't believe my rank. I'm currently fifth in the whole world. My goodness. Could you look at my team? Absolutely, absolutely. Just feel free to share your team. But I'm so ghasted that you've lost a bet during preseason and you're not allowed to make a transfer. I mean, is this during the whole season? Because that's actually very interesting. Currently fifth in the world. That is something. That is definitely something. I would be I would be really interested to see your team. If you can just share it here as well, I mean it'll be great. What about captaining Tony? I want captain Tony. Tony is a decent option to go for. Leeds are still. I mean they aren't really a top six, top eight defense all of a sudden, but yeah, I mean they are a lot better than they what they was, and Tony has been a frustrating option over the last couple of weeks. I'm not saying he's a bad option or he's done really bad. Yes, he's been a bit unlucky in terms of not getting returns because his numbers were there. He created chances. There were goal opportunities. He's missed big chances as well. So it's just been frustrating watch. I probably won't captain him, but yeah, I mean he's still a decent option in isolation as an FPL pick, but probably not captain him. Best replacement for Chilwell and Rodrigo. I mean Chilwell, you can absolutely go in different directions. You have options like Trippier. You have other players from Brighton, etc. as well. So depends on whether you want to play this option, whether it's a Ben or whether you just want to get to maybe a Nico Williams. For example, you don't have a Nico Williams. I am not sure right now, but depending on how much what do you want to do with this player? Do you want to play him week in week out? I mean, Trippier is a decent option. He has decent fixtures over the next, at least over the next till game week 10. Even United is still a decent fixture. I mean, yes, it's probably going to be a little tougher to score against them, but Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford. I mean, all are decent options where or fixtures where Newcastle can even keep clean sheets. So I think he definitely stands out as an option. Rodrigo, I think, is interesting because there are a lot of different directions you can go when you are looking at a Rodrigo replacement. And we did an Instagram post today morning regarding Rodrigo replacements. Now, in case if you have some additional money in the bank, you can look at players like Azaha, Bernardo Silva. There's Gundogan as well. Of course, I understand the appeal of Man City players, and I understand that you might think that they might not start every game, which is absolutely fine because they might not start every game. So the assumption there is absolutely correct. But I mean, there's of course there's Hall potential, but it comes at a cost. It comes at a risk. In case if you don't want to go there, there's Zaha as well. I've seen a couple of people pointing out that Zaha has tough fixtures, but he's the informed pick. He's that main man for Palace, and Palace, if they're gonna do well in attack, I think Zaha has to be involved. So and he's the informed option to go for. Otherwise, there's Pascal Gross. If you want to go absolutely safe, there's Pascal Gross. Brighton are a good team. He's been playing in a new attacking position, in a new attacking role, which is a lot further forward than what he was doing last season. So that's the reason he's getting more of those chances, scoring more goals, maybe even could get more assists as well. So I think he's a great option to go for. He's pretty safe in case if you are looking at differentials. Then there's Trossard from Brighton. I think he's a great option. In case if you want to go for other differentials, there's Sinistera as well from Leeds. I know he's not started games to kind of give you that confidence that he will probably start the next few, and then he will give us FPL returns as well. But I think he is expected to start more games. I mean, whatever Leeds forums, Leeds fans kind of talk about, they really rate him very highly, and there is quite a chance that he gets these regular game times or regular minutes. And of course, with the fixtures, etc., I think there are chances that Sinistera would do well. It's just too early to kind of go towards him. But again, it depends on which option or which direction you want to go for. If you have additional money, there are some other options. If you want to save some money, I think Pascal Gross has to be the safest one to go for. Best Perisic replacement is Trippier, Nico Williams. Both are good options. I mean, Nico Williams, you might not be able to play Nico Williams in every game, though the next three look really good. It's Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham. So it depends on when you're wildcarding as well. If you're wildcarded here, I think in isolation, Nico Williams could provide a lot more value than a Kieran Trippier because he's a lot more cheaper. There's a slightly more attacking threat with a Nico Williams as well. I know that Trippier would be on those set pieces, and there is a mean free kick in there. I mean, he can absolutely score that free kick, but Crystal Palace, West Ham, next to slightly tougher for sure for Trippier. So I think in isolation, if you look at both options, I think Nico Williams is great value because he lets you save that money as well. So in case if you get a Nico Williams, you probably have some money. Uh, and if you already have a plan to use that money, maybe spread the cash somewhere in midfield or in attack. I think Nico Williams definitely has to be the standard option. In case if you don't have a plan, if your team is already kind of set, and if you're looking at a slightly long-term option, I think then it probably has to be Trippier. So it depends on your objective and what you have in mind while you are thinking of a replacement for Perisic. Odegaard will play. Perez will start. I mean, both are tricky. Both are tricky to be honest. I think Odegaard. We'll quickly check. I haven't really checked any news since today morning. I think Perisic. So I'll answer the Perisic question first. I think there are high chances that Perisic doesn't start because he played 90 in the last game. Then you have Champions League midweek as well. Then there's a fixture against I think it's Man City in game week 7. Yeah, we'll quickly check that as well. Yeah, it's Man City in game week 7. So I personally feel that probably Perisic starts those two games. Maybe he starts the Champions League game and maybe he gets hooked off early. So, and because of the short turnaround time, having two important fixtures and then the game against Fulham, I think there are more chances that he gets rested in this game because I mean Conte could rest him absolutely, and I think he kind of needs a rest as well. So that's the reason I don't think so there are very high chances of him starting. Of course, like what Pep does, he can also start and maybe play about 50-60 minutes, but I still feel this is probably the game for him to get a rest. I mean, the predicted lineups say that Odegaard will start. So he's mentioned Odegaard is being assessed. We'll see more tomorrow. Hopefully, they will be able to train with the team. Depends on the training session as well. I mean, if he can get that training session, and if he can, then I think he plays. But yeah, I mean, it's not a clear cut yes or no. To be very honest, a lot of predicted lineups have predicted Odegaard to start. So I think he should. Um, that's where I'm at. Which midfielder should I buy with 6.2 million budget? I mean, the first name that comes to my mind is Pascal Gross. Definitely. I mean, he's probably the safest option to go for. Now, in case if you don't want to go towards a Pascal Gross, then you have some other options as well. You have somebody like a Harrison who's I think it's 6.1. Yeah, he's 6.1, decent option. Trossard, of course, is more. Aronson as well. Aronson is also an option which probably helps you save some money. But I still feel I think Pascal Gross, considering that he's only 5.9 and he's providing a lot of value, Brighton are playing well in attack. He's also getting more and more involved in the Brighton attacks. I think he definitely stands out. Who's gonna get clean sheet? Brighton or Chelsea? Chelsea as West Ham. That's gonna be a tricky game. Brighton against Leicester. I mean, both. There possibly is a chance that both teams don't get a clean sheet. To be very honest, I mean, I won't be surprised if Chelsea concede against West Ham and Brighton concede against Leicester because Leicester have looked. I mean, yes, they've looked. They were poor against Man United. They've looked, but other than that, they've been scoring goals. It's just the defense that has been letting them down. And of course, Madison being out becomes a huge deal for them right now because Vardy is not the same Vardy that we've seen before. They don't really have a lot of other attacking threat or somebody who can really create those passes, create those plays, create chances, and help the strikers to get goals or even score goals for themselves. So I mean, if at all, if I have to probably say some one team out of these two, gun to my head, I think I still feel Brighton probably has a higher chance of keeping a clean sheet, but I won't be surprised if both of them concede. Not going to captain Salah. Not going to captain Salah this week. Going with Haaland. I know it comes with a risk because Haaland can easily get benched. But I think it's a risk worth taking. I mean, I would still kind of lose points if Salah goes absolutely bonkers against Everton, which could easily happen. But I think there's still a decent chance that Haaland can probably play the 60 odd minutes and then maybe get a couple of goals, maybe get another hat trick. We don't know that yet. Aston Villa. The thing is that Aston Villa, if this was a trickier fixture, I might have been a little bit dodgy. But because it's Aston Villa and they've looked so bad in defense, I mean there are chances of a huge haul for Haaland. So let's see. Excuse me. Captain Kane, if not wildcarding, do you want to talk me out of it? I mean, to be very honest, I don't think that Kane is a bad option, so I probably won't talk you out of it. He's been the best attacker for Tottenham. If Tottenham are gonna get goals, score goals, Kane will be involved, whether he gets an assist because he's playing a little deeper and he creates those balls. He also would get those chances to score goals, and we've seen that. Yes, he tends to also miss chances, but he's still a good striker, a striker who can finish and get goals. So I don't think so. There's not a potential for Harry Kane to not score goals. So I personally don't think so. He's a bad option because Fulham, they play attacking football, and even against Tottenham, I think they will. I know it's an away fixture for Fulham, but Fulham would try to play attacking football, try to play on the front foot, try to make things very difficult for Tottenham. And because of that, I think they will leave some spaces behind. The defense will be slightly open, and we've seen that Fulham, yes, they have the capability or tendency to score 2 or 3 goals, but they also have a capacity to kind of concede as well. So they're not a very tight defense, or defense which probably will keep a lot of clean sheets this season because of the way they play. So I personally don't think so. He's a bad option. A differential, a slight risk for sure, because on one hand you have Haaland, who has great potential this week. The other side is basically Salah, who may not be the most informed player, but Everton also haven't really done that great. I mean, yes, they aren't probably as bad as Aston Villa at the moment in terms of defending, but they're still leaky. They still concede chances, and it's a derby game. It might just be the game where maybe Klopp is under more pressure, and there's more pressure for him to perform. And I think high chances that he comes out on top and does really well as well. So also, would you wildcard only for 6 new players? Depends on which 6 new players are we talking about. I personally, I mean, I can easily wildcard for 6 new players. It's not that I won't, but it really depends on which players am I getting. Um, which players am I taking out as well? I mean, that's also an important consideration, because of course we always look at the new players that we're getting in, and then the potential, etc., that they have. But what players are we taking out? What fixtures do they have? What is the potential? How much, or by how much, do we think that every player that we are getting in can outscore the player that are, or outscore those players that are going out? So I mean, it's a much more deeper analysis than just talking about a very meta or macro uh, from a wildcard perspective, that 6 players are enough or not. It could be enough because of the players that you get. Might not be enough because of, again, the players that you get. So depends on that. Trossard or Gross, safer option Trossard. Differential if you want to do things slightly differently, and if you don't want to follow the herd, if you think that you probably are looking for a punt for a couple of weeks before you are anyways wildcarding, then I think Trossard. Otherwise it has to be Gross. I sure Haaland will start. I'm not 100% sure, to be very honest. I'm not Pep. I'm not Man City's, you know, staff that decides the team and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, there are chances that he starts. There are chances that because of Alvarez playing a lot more minutes than a lot of people expected last week, he may start. But at the end of the day, it's Pep, right? I mean, this week we're all captaining Haaland and trying to get that third hat trick. Pep might easily bench him, and then it's absolutely a chance to happen. So I'm not 100% sure. I can't. I mean, nobody can be, to be very honest, to unless we really get some official leaks and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I still think he'll start though. Bailey's still in a team. How sell him, man? Yeah, I mean, Bailey has been. I mean, I've literally forgotten about Bailey as well. To be very honest, I will. I mean, I really haven't even noticed Bailey sitting in there, decreasing my team value, decreasing in price. I mean, started from 5 million, now he's 4.7 million, and I don't think so. I'm probably going to sell. I mean, depends on what I'm going to do next week, but there could be a chance where I sell him. But I've already lost point 0.3. by the time I might wildcard, he might just come back or come down to 4.5 million as well. So I mean that's one definite mistake that I probably have made. But it was not even that, I've had a couple of frees for a lot of these weeks, and I probably should have taken him out, at least saved on that team value. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I know that he doesn't start every game, and he started the last game against Arsenal. Before that, he was benched and came from the bench against West Ham. So it's not that I'm getting a regular starter. Maybe I can shift to a 4.5 million option and you know just just be okay with that. But yeah, I mean, Bailey was some decision for sure in terms of FPL. I have your exact team, but I have Edison and Luis Diaz instead of Ryan Tony, and instead of Gabriel and Bailey, I have Saliba and 4.5 million forward. I have two frees and can't find a smart move. I mean, if you can't really find any moves to help your team or improve your team, I'm thinking my 4.5 forward to a 4.4 and save my. I mean, it's not stupid to be very honest. If you have a transfer to burn, if you don't have anything else to do, if you have two free transfers, unless you maybe can save some value elsewhere, which is an absolutely okay decision. Uh, it's okay to even burn it and waste it. But in your case, if you have a 4.5 million forward and you have two free transfers, you can't find anything else to do. I mean, save that point one, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You will probably need it some at some point of time, and maybe at that point of time, you will think of this transfer and this move, and feel that you've probably done it right, and you've given yourself an opportunity to complete certain picks which might not have happened because of this transfer. So it's not stupid, to be very honest. It's better than, say, burning a transfer. So yeah, this downgraded to a different option. Start to Walker, Cucurella, or Dunk. I think I'll definitely start Walker. There's still a slight risk of rotation, etc., but I still feel he starts. Then I will. I mean, if I have to choose between a Cucurella and a Dunk, I'll probably choose Cucurella. I mean, it's actually not that straightforward because I mean, both Chelsea and Brighton can concede. To be very honest, I still have a higher chance, or I still feel that West Ham probably have a higher chance of scoring than maybe Leicester. Both are home games. It's quite tough. I mean, I'll probably just start Cucurella because he's a slightly better asset. Maybe he has slightly better potential when he plays in that left wing back position, which might not be the case with Lewis Dunk. So I'll probably just start, but it's a very close call. So it'll be Walker and Cucurella. I went with McAllister. Hope it pays off. I mean, McAllister, to be very honest, I mean, his overall play is not something where you see him advancing in the box a lot, having a lot of penalty touches, scoring a lot of goals. Yes, he has penalties, and Brighton have been a bit. I mean, I can't say lucky because you work towards getting penalties, but yeah, I mean, penalties are not that certain. I mean, you can't be 100% sure in terms of getting pens week in, week out. We've seen that he is on penalties, and that's probably his biggest or most important uh, goal contribution. But that might not happen every week. So yeah, I mean, let's hope it works out, but not very convinced with McAllister. Shivam, your team is Ramsdale, Trent, James, Cucurella, Cancelo, Salah, Neto, Harrison, Diaz, Haaland, and Jesus. Your bench is Ward, Pereira, Patterson, and Archer. You have two free transfers, point four in the bank. No idea what to do. Thinking of going McAllister for Neto. Neto is 4.5.2. Mm. I mean, 5.2 plus another point 0.4 is 5.6, which probably gives you an Aronson. And I think Aaronson's would definitely be a lot better than McAllister, to be very honest. As we spoke about the 5.5 million price bracket, there aren't a lot of options to go for. Um, and you already have Pereira, so maybe you can go Da Silva and save some money. In case if you are willing to play or looking to play this player, then probably look towards an Aronson. I think Aronson would definitely be a lot better than McAllister. Tony and Jensen to Welbeck and Trossard. Trossard I like. Welbeck, I mean, he's done okay. His numbers are okay. He's been playing well. But yeah, I mean, still not very convinced about a Brighton attacker. I mean, last game he didn't play against Fulham. Maybe he starts this one. I'm not sure. And because of that uncertainty, I'm not very confident about Welbeck. Trossard is a really, really good option. If I mean, I know you probably can't do this move because you probably won't have enough money, but I'll probably keep Tony and Jensen and maybe try a different way to get in a Pascal Gross, for example. I mean, Jensen Pascal Gross would be probably about 0.7, 0.8, that sort of a price difference, and I'll probably think about taking out money from somewhere else rather than going this route. I see Tony and Neko Hall. You have a great team on paper. I mean, I do think I have a decent team on paper. But I mean, having a team on paper and seeing those games and playing out those games and all of that probability converting into points, of course, it's a lot. So let's see. Decent team. I feel confident about it. I don't see any reasons of wildcarding anytime soon unless we start seeing options or we start seeing players like James, Trent, Cancelo, all of these options getting rested, even Salah for that matter, which could be a possibility because the top six teams have a lot of games, have midweek games for a long time now. So there are options, there are chances of those rests etc. happening. But yeah, I mean, looks decent for now. If I took a hit, then use my wild card. Do I still get the negative points? No, you won't get the negative points. In case if you take a hit, but then you press the wild card button, that hit and that transfer will reset, and then you'll have the wild card available with unlimited transfers for this week or whichever week you're using it. So in case if you're using the wild card, the hit uh, won't count, the negative points won't be applicable, and the transfer itself will reset. Ryan Trent, James, Robertson, Cancelo, Walker, Kroos, Martinelli, Salah, Jesus, Haaland. Any changes you recommend? One free transfer available. You have Trent, you have James. I mean, Robertson to somebody else is an option, but it's not a priority transfer to be very honest. I mean, I don't see Perisic starting this week. You already have the double up in Cancelo, Walker. I won't double up on the Chelsea defense right now. I mean, if you want to save some money, maybe Robertson to a Arsenal defender, maybe a Brighton defender, but both have a potential or both have a higher chance of conceding this as well this week. So I mean, it's not a must to do sort of a transfer. I mean, you can easily save it this week and maybe have two free transfers. We are throwing some curveball in the next week, which we aren't really expecting right now, and maybe use those two free transfers at that point of time where you will have a problem in front of you, and then you'll have two free transfers to solve that problem. So Ramsdale to Sanchez also in mind. I mean, yeah, Ramsdale to Sanchez is definitely something that a lot of us are thinking. I mean, Neto. I still feel Neto needs to be sold. But against Southampton, maybe one more week, maybe you give that chance. Ramsdale is I think he's gonna start, but yeah, if you want to do that downgrade, I think Ramsdale to Sanchez is probably okay to be very honest. Start Ramsdale or what? I'll start Ramsdale. I think he'll start. And yeah, I definitely a better option in irrespective of the tougher fixture. I still feel is the better option. Don't I honestly don't trust the Leicester defense at all. So still confused on captaincy currently on Salah. If he blanks, can't bear to see Haaland scoring later. I mean, that's the issue, right? Uh, Haaland has definitely more potential. I mean, there is absolutely no chance that Haaland doesn't have equal or even more potential. There is no question about it. Villa are definitely a lot worse than what Everton are doing at the moment, and Haaland and Man City are a lot better than what Salah is doing at the moment and Liverpool is doing at the moment. So the only issue was minutes, right? So is minutes. So in case if we were kind of very clear on that, I think it wasn't even a conversation to be very honest. But because of that part or that thing that exists, there's still a risk involved with Haaland. I mean, I know a lot of people, and me included, are doing the Haaland captaincy move. I mean, we have to understand, we have to temper the expectation that it comes with a risk. It comes with a benching possibility, and it maybe comes with less minutes for Haaland. But because we've seen that he can even score hat tricks, he tends to get involved a lot, especially when he might not have a lot of touches, he might not have a lot of the ball. So you might think that he's not getting involved, but he will get chances because Man City are I mean that creative engine, that creative unit is absolutely crazy, and I don't see Villa keeping Man City out in any capacity. This could be a 4-5 nil easily. So that's the worry there, and I know I can possibly not get the minutes that a lot of the other Haaland captaincy owners got last week or the last 2 weeks. But I mean, I'm okay taking that chance. Let's see. Any Darwin Nunes news? I think he starts. To be very honest, we don't have any early team news. I'll just quickly check that. Yeah, I don't see anything in terms of any team news, but I think Nunes starts this one. I think they definitely need him to start, and I think he will. He's gotten enough time to kind of think about what happened, and Liverpool are a little bit all over the place. Yes, they were really good against Bournemouth, but it was also because of the fact that Bournemouth was really bad. So it's just I think he starts this one for sure. Thoughts on McAllister and Gibbs White? Both options are really good. In fact, Gibbs White is one option that I haven't mentioned in that 5.5 price category. I think he is 5.5. And if you're looking at a 5.5 million option, I know it's maybe not a very appealing option. We've not even seen enough. There is a lot of chance or a lot of chances that Gibbs White maybe gets rested, maybe gets benched. We've seen him starting three of the last four games. In fact, four of the last five games, and he could be a decent option. I mean, Forest have good fixtures. They have Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham, as we discussed earlier, and I think if you're looking at a punt, I think maybe Gibbs White, especially having a wild card in mind, for example, I think he could be a decent option to go for. He's definitely better than McAllister. He's definitely more involved than McAllister. Of course, McAllister has penalty, so it kind of mitigates that attacking potential that a Gibbs White would give you. But he's been playing close to the striker a lot, Gibbs White. Uh, he's shown even against the tougher teams. I know Forest have lost badly against in those two fixtures. I mean, yes, Tottenham was only 2-0, but Man City was, of course, sixth in defeat. But I still feel there was a lot of promise in the positions that Gibbs White was taking, and especially in the easier fixtures. I mean, there is a haul in there. So I think if you're looking to go a bit differential in that 5.5 million price category, I think Aronson is probably the safer one who will probably guarantee you minutes. Even Gordon, for example, will guarantee you minutes. But I think if you want taking a bit of a punt, then I think Gibbs White is a good option. Kane or Salah captain, I think between the two, it definitely has to be Salah. Uh, but again, if you are going towards a differential, if you want to do things a bit differently, because I think Salah, I still feel Salah would be still second in terms of captaincy this week, because I still believe that there'll be more Haaland captaincy or more Haaland owners going for captaincy. But again, if you are willing to bet against the crowd, which comes at a huge cost, a huge risk, though Kane has a decent fixture this week, and I expect him to score. Uh, so yeah, still feel Salah is slightly better, safer. But again, if you want to go a bit differential, I mean, Kane is up, definitely up there. Mitrovic, good transfer. I mean, he's in form, like Zaha, as we've been saying. Zaha has tough fixtures, etc. I think Mitrovic also has trickier fixtures, but he definitely looks like a player in decent form. The fixtures aren't great, to be very honest. Tottenham and Chelsea are going to be tough games, but Fulham, the way they are playing, I think there is a high potential, high chance that Mitrovic can get something. We've at least seen one thing, that if Fulham are going to score or are going to get any attacking returns, etc., I think Mitrovic will definitely get involved. So going by that logic, Tottenham Chelsea tough. Forest could be a decent game. Newcastle West Ham also a bit tricky, but I mean Fulham can easily score against Newcastle and West Ham as well. Newcastle is a good defense. It's not that it's not, but I think it's a good transfer, to be very honest. I would have probably preferred Tony for the next couple and then maybe switch to Mitrovic, but I mean going for Mitrovic as well directly is pretty good. Sterling instead of Salah in the wild card. I understand that why people want to go for no Salah because I mean he's not done enough, considering that he's 13 million, and maybe considering that Sterling is a lot cheaper. You can use that 3 million, and I get that justification. And if that really helps your team or improves your team, I think it's maybe something to look at. But I still feel Salah has done enough to make us believe that he at least deserves a spot in our teams, if not maybe captaincy. But yeah, if you're not captaining Salah most weeks, and we're probably kind of set towards Haaland, then I think it doesn't really make a lot of sense as well, right? Because Salah is a player, he's a premium option that you would want to captain, you would want to keep every week, considering the attacking output that he can provide you, right? So it is a valid conversation, but I still feel it's maybe still safer to go on a wild card. I mean, in case if you're not going for Salah on the wild card, just have a plan. Maybe don't spread the cash enough or too much, because it might be a bit tricky to get in Salah otherwise. But again, if you are willing to risk it, it's a big risk because Salah can still do well. I mean, he will definitely hurt your rank because of the ownership that he has. But yeah, I mean, if you want to do go against the crowd, go against the vibe of Mo Salah, I mean, it's not the worst option. I still don't feel that Salah is an essential at the moment. Yes, he's a hold if you have him, or maybe he's a he's somebody that you should probably look at on your wild card. But if you're not going for him, that's fine. But have a plan ready in case if you want to get him. Don't spread the cash too much. Dallo instead of Nico Williams. I know I still feel Nico Williams is a better option. Haaland or Salah captain. I've spoken about this, but Salah if you want to go safer. Haaland if you are looking to attack the potential. Haaland is definitely risky. Salah is definitely safer, and that's where I am. I'm on Haaland. I think a lot of people would be as well. I mean, take your call. Do you think going Edison and Andres to Aronson and Sanchez with two frees is worth it? It might be, to be very honest. I'm not expecting Edison to get rested a lot. To be very fair, and Andres Pereira also has decent fixtures. I mean, we know that he's been that creative spark in that Fulham side, and not bad. I mean, not a bad option. I think Edison plus Pereira. I mean, is the option from Edison plus Andres to Aronson and Sanchez? I was thinking the other way around. I mean, I'm okay hold if you have Edison and Andres Pereira. I'm okay holding them. To be very fair, it does leave me with 12 playable outfielders, which I don't like, but I can't find. I mean, you don't have to find a move because of the fact that you have to make a move. But if you have Edison and Andres Pereira, I still feel it's probably even better than Aronson and Sanchez. Martinelli or Rashford for 5 game weeks? Definitely Martinelli. In spite of Arsenal having slightly trickier games, I still feel. I mean, Rashford is still not shown enough to give us a headache or give us an option where we feel that we should definitely go for a Marcus Rashford from Man United. Man United's attack. I think we are overplaying this in our heads. To be very honest, United attack has been definitely improving. It's gotten better, but it's still not gotten to a point where we start considering these options as fantasy options, considering that Rashford hasn't really done anything at all, either in preseason or in weeks up till now. So I personally don't think Rashford is still a part of the conversation, to be very honest. Rodrigo replacement already have Gross, Martinelli, or I also did Robo to Stones. Also, does Robo to Stones James make sense? Robo to James absolutely makes sense. A lot of potential in Reece James. He will be on set pieces if he plays in that right wing back role, which I think he will for most weeks now. I think he's a good option. Uh, and I think that Robertson to James move would also give you a lot of money to, maybe go towards a Gundogan, maybe go even towards a Zaha, for example. There are a lot of options to go for because you already have Gross or Martinelli. I mean, Martinelli, of course, is a different option. But if you have Pascal Gross, I would probably not suggest you to get a Trossard because it becomes a bit too much. Uh, so yeah, let's see. Should I bench Saliba or Da Silva? Brentford have Leeds. I mean, Leeds are a slightly trickier defense to kind of judge at the moment, but I still feel if I have to bench one, it'll be Da Silva. I think. I mean, I'm not expecting maybe Arsenal to keep a clean sheet here, but I still feel there's probably if United don't turn up or if they play like United play, I mean, there's still a chance that you know uh, Saliba could get a clean sheet. So I'll definitely bench Da Silva, not Saliba. Is Rashford a hold or a sell from now on? If you have him, maybe play him again. I mean, Arsenal again is not a bad. It's not a bad defense, right? I mean, they are a decent defense. In fact, their numbers are almost as good as a Man City. Of course, second to Man City till now, but absolutely, it's not going to be that easy. I still feel there is a chance that you can sell Rashford because Rashford is in that price category where you have other options to target as well. So as I said, you can go to a Gross, you can go to a Trossard. If you have some additional money, there are other options as well. So yeah, let's see. I mean, I personally I'm okay selling Rashford because, as I said earlier, right, I have not seen enough from Marcus Rashford to make me feel that I should get him or I should even hold him for that matter. There are better options to go for. I think Haaland not playing today. Alvarez on for him. So can I make captain KDB? Let's see if we have any news. I'm not sure if you have a source that is quite or that is decently confirming that Haaland is not starting. Please feel free to share that as well. Really, it will be really helpful. But if you somehow have that information available, and if you feel that you know Alvarez is starting for Haaland, I mean, definitely KDB is the next best option to go for. Definitely a lot of potential. KDB, because of the fact that he was rested in the last game. I think he will start. Might not play about more than 60 odd minutes, but KDB is still a good option. Odegaard traveling to Manchester. Haven't read anything so far yet. I will definitely. I'm keeping a close eye on it. If I get anything, I will definitely let you know. I mean, there's a late fitness test that will be that will be done to assess Odegaard and the training session as well. If he takes part in that training session, I think there is a high chance that he at least travels with the team. Maybe starts on the bench and maybe can come on if it's required. But right now, I don't have that information. Captain Sterling, differential, risky. If you're okay with the blank, if you're okay with the chance of getting a blank, though, when we talk about Sterling in Chelsea, I think Sterling has looked one of the brighter spots in that Chelsea attack, which has been really bad, really struggling. So, I mean, it's a big risk, to be very honest. West Ham are a good. I mean, West Ham have they still don't look like a very tough defense to break, but I mean I get that sense, I get that vibe, and let me know what you think about it. I get that vibe that Chelsea might not. Chelsea's anyways not a team which scores 4 or 5 goals, which creates a lot of XG, which creates a lot of. They do create chances, but Sterling on the other hand has that knack of missing chances as well. Tough game. I mean, West Ham is probably not the game where I'll captain Sterling. Having said that, when I've said these kind of things, that player goes in the game, gets a brace, and I'm like, oh my god, what was I thinking? But that's what happens, right? That's what FPL is. So let's see. I personally won't do it, but in case if you are feeling a little extra spicy, I mean, why not? Why not take that chance, right? Don't blame me or don't say anything to me in the next stream, but absolutely, I think it could be okay. Bench Dunk or Saliba, have Sanchez and Trossard in my team. If you have Sanchez and Trossard in your team, I'll possibly bench Dunk. At least so that I mean, in case if Saliba gets a clean sheet, if maybe Brighton concede, you will be having two players not getting that clean sheet. Going by that logic, I don't know if it makes any sense to you, but I think Saliba is probably okay playing because you already have a Sanchez cover, and I'm not that confident of a Brighton clean sheet that probably double up on defense. Havertz to Mitrovic or Isaac. Havertz to Mitrovic or Isaac. Isaac is definitely looking decent. Uh, Differential, if you want to go that differential route, I think he's looking okay. Mitrovic, if you're concerned about the fixtures, that's a valid concern. But Mitrovic has done well over the last few weeks, and we know that he will be involved. Mount to Foden or Zaha, I like safest is Pascal Gross. So if you want to save some money, I think go Pascal Gross. If you are okay taking a bit of a chance, considering that Zaha's fixtures are also tough, but Zaha is the informed pick, right? I mean, why the hell wouldn't you want to pick a player which or who looks in good form? And yes, I know he has tough fixtures, but we've seen whenever Crystal Palace do something in attack, it's always Zaha who's contributing in some capacity. So I like Mount to Zaha, to be very honest. If I have to do the Havertz to a different option, slightly known commodity still is Mitrovic, but Isaac could be a great option considering that you probably have the wildcard available. Maybe in the next couple of weeks you are anyways thinking of wildcarding, so why not take a chance on an Isaac, for example, and on a wildcard you can easily get a Mitrovic back. So that's where I am. Kyle Walker Peters or Cucurella. I think I think definitely Cucurella. I mean, I know Wolves don't really score a lot of goals. Uh, and Walker Peters has been one of the better options in the Southampton team. I mean, he always looks like he will probably get an assist. So yeah, I think still the better option to go for. On paper, if you see, I mean, it's not really a big comparison, right? It's not really a clear cut comparison. You'll always think that, oh my god, yes, Cucurella is definitely the better option. Excuse me. So irrespective of that, I think it's Cucurella. Robertson out for Nico Williams. Excuse me. for Nico Williams and Tony for a hit. It's a decent move. For a hit is something that I'm a little bit concerned, but I think it also depends on which player you're taking out. I'm assuming you'll probably be taking out a 4.5 million striker. I think it should be okay. Uh, Nico Williams has decent potential. Tony as well. It's Leeds. I mean, yes, Leeds aren't really a team who concede 3 or 4 goals now, but yeah, could be okay. I know a lot of people won't really be happy with the hit, but I'm possibly okay if this is something that you're probably looking at a little long term. Maybe if you plan to wildcard etc. next week, then maybe it doesn't make sense. But I think if it's little medium to long term, I think it could be good. Which one should I bench? Pascal, Madison, and Tony. I don't want to do this, but if I probably have to do it, I'll possibly bench Madison. Madison against Brighton. Brighton at home, they're a good defense. I still feel there's more potential in Pascal Gross and Tony. I know a lot of people might not agree because Madison is the key to Leicester's attacks, and there's always a chance that he can score from a free kick, maybe get assists, score a goal himself as well. But yeah, I personally think it's Pascal Gross and Tony playing and Madison being benched. Isaac or Mitrovic. For the next couple, if you ask, I think Isaac is a good option to go for. Um, if you're looking at a slightly long term option, I think it has to be Mitrovic. I think Isaac is also somebody that who's not really proven. Yes, he looked decent. Yes, he looks like a great differential, but Mitrovic we've seen over the past few weeks now. I mean, there was a lot of doubt in Mitrovic as well when he came to the Premier League this season, considering how bad or how poor he was in his last few returns to the Premier League. So I think Mitrovic is a known commodity. He's a lot safer. He has slightly tougher fixtures in Tottenham and Chelsea, absolutely. So if you're looking at only a couple of weeks, I think he could be a good option to go for. Um, if you're looking at a slightly long term pick, I think Mitrovic is the better option. If you're looking to add a punt maybe for a couple of weeks, I think Crystal Palace, West Ham, again, not the easiest set of fixtures, but I think Isaac could be a decent option. You can always switch back to a Mitrovic when the fixtures in game week 8 get better for Fulham. I think the next two are going to be tricky. Having said that, Mitrovic could still score, but I possibly, just because of the fixtures and just because of the difficulty etc., I'll probably just take a chance with Isaac, see him for a couple of weeks, make the switch to Mitrovic back on a wild card or maybe not on a wild card. Take Cancelo out for Perisic. I personally won't. Cancelo is a good option to go for. Still hold. Can score. We saw. Don't think there'll be a lot of rotation in that spot. So I think if you have Cancelo, keep Cancelo. Trossard best Rodrigo replacement for one game week punt. Yeah, why not? He's a good option to be very honest. His numbers may not be as good as a Pascal Gross, but and because of the fact that he's also a little bit more expensive, but that's also kind of coming from the fact that he also was playing left wing back, which he won't be doing anymore. So yeah, take those analysis and take those numbers, etc., with a pinch of salt. But I think Trossard for 1 week could be a good option. Zaha captain, good option. No, won't captain Zaha for sure. Better captaincy options there. Even if you want to go differential, you can go for Kane. I won't go Gabriel Jesus because of Man United's defense becoming slightly better, but definitely better options out there. Any thoughts on Zaha in for Diaz and Mitrovic in for Archer for -4? I'll still keep Diaz to be very honest. I know that you're changing the formation here, you're changing the structure here, you're starting with the third striker, but I'm okay keeping Diaz to be very honest, and I think that will kind of force me to keep Archer as well because you won't have enough money. So I think I'm good keeping Diaz. Should I triple captain Haaland? Not the game week to triple captain Haaland to be very honest. Because of the fact that we don't know if he's going to start or not. Huge risk. Again, he might end up returning with 20 odd points, and you might end up coming back to me and saying that I was thinking about it, but huge risk. Very early in the season, we still don't know how many minutes etc. Haaland will get. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen later on in the season where we have these double game weeks etc. But I still feel double game week is probably a better option. Though most weeks, what happens in these double game weeks, one of the fixtures is if let's say if it's an easier double game week, Haaland might start one, might not start the other one, and that would probably again become a lot difficult. But yeah, it's very risky at this point of time because of the fact that there are high chances of him being benched. Not tier one source, but I heard Man City next fixture, Sevilla, UCL, Tottenham, Dortmund, and so Aston Villa is 19th place right now. I mean, I personally don't think so. That's valid enough logic. Again, don't get me wrong here, but there is a different perspective or a different different sharpness in the attack for Man City when Haaland is playing in that central striker number 9 position. So I still feel he will start. Let's see. Gross, Nico Williams, and Dunk. Pick any two. I'll possibly pick Nico Williams and Gross. Would you play Martinelli or Nico Williams? Thanks. I still like to play the attackers here, but Nico Williams just because of the fact that he's playing Bournemouth. He has the clean sheet potential as well. I don't mind playing Nico Williams ahead of Martinelli as well. I would always prefer the attacker, but maybe in this game or in this fixture, it's just not coming out that way. And because of Bournemouth and Bournemouth being so bad at the moment, again, no disrespect to any Bournemouth fans out there, it's just that the club state at the moment is a bit all over the place. So I feel Nico Williams is okay. Bench Walker or Williams. I mean, I don't expect Aston Villa to score in that game, to be very fair. But Nico Williams has higher upside. I mean, we could all end up with a couple of points from Nico Williams at the end of the day. I mean, I know that he's been hyped a lot. He's been talked about a lot in the FPL space, in the FPL community this week. And we can end up with 1 or 2 points from Williams against Bournemouth because Bournemouth suddenly, come out as a great team and play really well. They score as well. But if you look at the odds, if you look at what you've seen on the pitch so far, I still believe that Williams has a higher, attacking potential. So there's a possibility of getting more points from a Williams. Let's say even if he doesn't get a clean sheet, there's still a chance where Nico Williams can get an attacking return. And for that reason, I feel it's okay to play him ahead of Walker. I understand that you will think that Walker is from Man City. Man City is a good defense. Villa don't really spell a lot of confidence in attack, and all of that reasoning is fine. Is that because of the fact that Williams has a slightly higher attacking upside? I'll go Williams. You also know that Pep Guardiola, he's a monster right now, but I mean, yeah. Let's see. I mean, I'm expecting him to start, but I won't be surprised if he's benched, to be very honest. Rodrigo to Zaha this week, or should I save the transfer to downgrade Rodrigo and get a third? I mean, you can save the transfer as well, depending on who are you playing this week. I mean, if you have a replacement for Rodrigo, in terms of let's say if you can keep Rodrigo on the bench, play that bench player up top. I think that can be okay, and then you can get in the third striker next week without taking a hit, which is the ideal scenario. I mean, a lot of people already have 2 free transfers and are doing this week. You might be able to do it 1 week later, which I think is absolutely fine. And yeah, I mean Isaac for the next two, as I mentioned, is looking decent. Mitrovic, long term Mitrovic is definitely the better option to go for right now because I have not seen enough of Isaac in the Premier League. Nobody has. I mean, it'll be foolish to kind of make that assumption that Isaac is all of a sudden a great option. Mitrovic also wasn't maybe initially, but because of the fact that he has been playing really well, Fulham have been in a very attacking side, and they look like they're scoring goals in a lot of these games. So yeah, I think Mitrovic long term definitely start Martinez Walker. I mean, again, it's conflicting in my head because I always have that strategy, or I always have that thing of starting the attacker because attackers are always having a better potential, better upside. But I think again, Martinelli against Man United could score. I mean, I'm not saying United are all of a sudden the best defense in the league. Absolutely not. Don't even think about that. But yeah, I mean, Walker would probably end up giving you 6. Martinelli might blank or might, let's say there's this high chance that maybe he gets a goal or something. Maybe he gets about 8 9 points. But on the other hand, there's also a possibility of him getting a blank. So if you want to play a bit safer, play Walker. If you're okay taking a little bit risk and considering that Arsenal have a slightly tougher game, then it has to be Martinelli. It depends on the amount of risk and how much of a risk are you willing to take with both options. Should I captain Kane or Mo Salah? Safer Salah, good record versus Everton. Just the fact that when Elliot is playing, the way Liverpool are playing, Salah is very wide. He's not had goal threat or significant goal threat or generally what we see from Salah. Of course, he was very unlucky to not get anything from that Bournemouth game, which he should have absolutely got something out of, because he definitely was one of the best players on the pitch. Um, so yeah, I think safer would definitely be Salah if you're okay willing to go against the crowd, because I know a lot of people like to make these maverick moves, like to kind of do catch ups. Now whether this is the right time to do catch ups or whether we're thinking of it too much in our heads and because of a lot of the season left is a very different conversation. But I think if you want to do things slightly differently, maybe Kane. But potential wise, both options have good potential. Everton, yes, are a decent defense, but and it's at home as well. Goodison has been quite better for Everton when they're keeping, or when they are, when we talk about their defensive performances, when we talk about them keeping clean sheets, the record is a lot better at Goodison Park. So still, safer is definitely Salah. Sanchez, James, Trent, Cancelo, Walker, Martinelli, Salah, Gross, Haaland, Jesus. Have Rodriguez on the have Rodrigo on the bench. Should I sell him for a -4? You don't have to be very honest. I mean, if you're playing a back four, I mean it's a 4-3-2, so you'll have. I mean, depends on who do you have on your bench as well. But I don't think so. If you have a decent bench option, I don't think so. You have to take a hit for it. Why is no one talking about Che Adams? Nobody's talking about Che Adams because he's posted decent numbers, but he doesn't. He's not a clinical striker. We've seen that he doesn't finish a lot of the chances that he gets. Southampton have decent fixtures. Wolves, Brentford and Villa, then Everton. They aren't really bad fixtures from any stretch of the imagination. It's just that I'm not too sure about how sustained or how. I mean, I would always probably consider. I know that fixtures for a Mitrovic are looking trickier, but I would always want a Mitrovic ahead of a Southampton, because Southampton are a very bogey team to kind of predict right now. They do create a lot of chances, but there's also a possibility that the attacking returns get shared a bit. Che Adams gets a lot of chances as well, but he's not a clinical finisher, and because of that, I'm not very confident on Che Adams. Start Martinelli or Walker. I've already answered this. Safer is Walker. If you want to risk it, go Martinelli. Dunk Justin to Nico Williams. Um, I mean, one, it helps you save some money. Second, Nico Williams is definitely more attacking than definitely Dunk. Maybe not Justin, but Leicester defense is absolutely shambles at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I'm okay making that move if you don't have anything else to do, and if you want to save some money, that money can help you, make other upgrades elsewhere on the pitch. Absolutely, why not? Going for Trent as differential captain. Sorry. What's your opinion on this? I think. I mean, if I have to go a differential captain, I'll probably go Kane. I I mean, Gabriel Jesus is also always sort of a differential. Maybe not this week because it's Man United. So yeah, I mean, I if I have Kane, I'll probably go Kane. If I am really looking for a differential, I mean, because you have some decent options to go for this week, I mean, the ideal captaincy might not be a differential captain. But I mean, Chelsea, if I don't know, a lot of people won't have Sterling, but I think Sterling is a decent option to go for. I won't go Trent still. I mean, Everton, I know that they are lacking a striker and they might not score, but I mean, Trent he's been okay. I mean, there's no denying the fact that his attacking numbers are a lot better than Robertson. His positioning has been a lot better than Robertson. Um, but yeah, I mean, differential captain, Everton score, loses his clean sheet. I'm not too sure. Cucurella to Trippier. If you have nothing else to do, and if you're looking at a slightly long-term option, why not go for it? It's a sort of a luxury move, to be very honest. I understand that you might be a little put off by the fact that Chelsea don't keep clean sheets, and Cucurella. I still feel that he'll play the right left wing back role, and there is a chance that Chilwell would eat his minutes up. So if you have these concern in head and in your head, and if you're looking at a long-term pick, I think Trippier is okay. Nothing else to do, go for it. If you have all, maybe if you're doing for a hit and all that stuff, don't do it. Luis Diaz or Saka, I think Luis Diaz is definitely better. Saka, I mean, Arsenal are a good team, they are a good attack, but Saka is not the right FPL option, at least at the moment. I mean, Martinelli, if I had to go for the Arsenal attackers, it will be Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, and then probably Odegaard if he's fit. Thinking of transferring out Ramsdale, who do you bring in? Sanchez, the safest option to go for. There is good clean sheet potential with Sanchez. he might not make as much or as many saves as maybe a Henderson or even a Raya from Brentford. But I think because of the slightly higher clean sheet potential, I like him as an option. He's cheap as well. He allows you to save some money, use that money elsewhere, and have a good time with your FPL team. I mean, that's what we are here for. Uh, Chesky, thank you so much for your love your insight. Thank you so much. I really really hope I was able to help you. Da Silva for Pascal Gross, Perisic for Dunk, and Edison for Sanchez or Pope. Is this a good move? Um, I mean, if you're getting Pascal Gross, then Dunk, and then Sanchez or Pope, I mean, yeah, I don't mind that, to be honest. Da Silva is not going to give you much attacking threat. Pascal Gross, on the other hand, is a lot better. Perisic is expected to at least get benched this week. Excuse me. Dunk, I know he scored an own goal. It's not going to happen every week. We don't have to be worried. High chances that Brighton will keep clean sheets. They are a solid defense. I mean, we can't take that away from them that they aren't a good defense. They're a very sound team structure wise. So and Edison for Sanchez again. Yes, Man City would probably keep more clean sheets, but Edison is not some keeper who will give you 7, 8, 9 points week on week, right? Sanchez, on the other hand, might be able to do that a lot higher or a lot more than an Edison because Man City don't concede shots, so Edison doesn't make any saves. So there is no point of yes, from a clean sheet perspective and from a safety point of view, I understand that point, but that you can probably double up on the Man City defense with a Cancelo and an Edison rather than probably going for Walker, but because maybe Edison is a lot more nailed. The argument is absolutely sound and valid, but I think the move is good. I mean, you can absolutely do it. Is James Ward-Prowse a good option? I think he's a great differential. Not a lot of people are talking about him. Southampton's fixtures are looking really good. He's playing in a much more advanced role and a sort of a new position than what we've seen, in the past. And I think because of the fact, I still feel that there is potential in Ward-Prowse, and I don't see him as a very bad option. I know it'll be a slightly risky option considering the fact that he's some player who would really depend a lot on set pieces, and you don't get set pieces goals week on week, right? And that's the only concern. His points outlets or his different ways through which he can give points are not very high or not a lot. It's a lot more limited. So decent differential, but I still have better options in mind. Transferred in Gibbs White, couldn't afford Gross. Thoughts on him? I mean, we haven't really seen enough of Gibbs White. Yes, we've seen him for a couple of weeks. We've seen that even against the tougher teams, he was in very attacking positions. He was carrying some goal threat. Now against the slightly easier teams, maybe who sit back, defend, maybe who play kind of as equals as a Nottingham Forest, we still have to see that information. So of course you will be going by certain biases in your head, which may or may not come true. But as a differential, if you're looking for a short-term punt, considering that you maybe are thinking of a wild card, maybe you have transfer flexibility in terms of structure, in terms of funds, etc. Maybe you have enough money to go towards a different option in case if you have to. Why not? I mean, could be a good option. Trippier in for Gabriel. I think, yeah, I mean, don't mind that switch again. If you have nothing else to do, why not go for that move? Ramsdale start, it looks like it. I think Ramsdale looks like he will start. We'll quickly see again if we have any updated information, but I think yeah, I think he will start. Perisic to Weltman, Pes to Weltman, and Rodrigo to Luis Diaz. I got some money left in the bank, but I have already three players, so Weltman it is. I mean, yeah, why not? But you can go for Weltman. You can even go for Dunk. I think Dunk is slightly more. I think point 0.1 more if I'm not wrong. So if you have that much money only, I mean, Weltman could be a decent top. Weltman is 4.6 as well. So I mean, yeah, Dunk probably could be. You could argue that Dunk is slightly safer. Both of them have equal sort of goal threat from set pieces. Uh, so yeah, I mean, both options are good. You can easily go for Weltman. -4 for Taylor to Haaland and KDB to Da Silva. I don't I don't think that KDB is a bad option this week. In case if you are feeling a little lost in terms of maybe you are catching up, maybe you feel that you will lose out on rank, you want to play a little bit more defensive, then I think this is the move to go for. In case if you aren't, not having Haaland is definitely very risky. and that's why the safety kind of comes in. And I still feel KDB in isolation is a good pick to go for. You don't have to really doubt it in your head because he was rested in the last game. The expectation or the assumption here is that he will start this week, and yeah, I mean, not something very off that you have in your team at the moment. But yeah, in case if you're afraid, in case if you want to go absolutely safe, then probably make a move on this. Otherwise, won't take a hit taking out KDB because he also has the same fixture as Haaland. Should I play Cucurella or Nico Williams? Have Reece James too? I don't mind playing Nico Williams. I think there is a lot of potential in Williams. West Ham are a decent team. I mean, they can definitely score against Chelsea, and Chelsea haven't really looked very strong in defense. They're still kind of figuring out what to do in defense. I mean, yes, they haven't been able to keep a lot of clean sheets, and then that's what worries me when I have a double up on James and Cucurella. I understand the appeal of Cucurella in terms of him, having attacking potential, but I think a similar attacking potential, especially against Bournemouth, I think can also be achieved through Nico Williams as well. And considering that Bournemouth aren't really scoring a lot of goals, there are chances that Nico Williams even keeps a clean sheet. So I think I know it's not going to be a very popular move, but you don't really have to do things which are very popular anyways, right? You have to play your game. You have to understand what's best for your team. I think Nico Williams over Cucurella is not bad. Will Kulusevski start? I think so. There are a lot of rumors that Son might get benched and Richarlison might start. I think Kulusevski starts this one. Captain Kane or Sterling. If the conversation is between two differentials, which they are in terms of captaincy, I think I'll captain Kane. Has a slightly better fixture, slightly playing a weaker defense, playing a slightly weaker defense. So both of them have been a lot more instrumental in their team's attacking play. And if I'm betting on somebody from Chelsea, I think it has to be Sterling. But I think Kane is slightly better prospects this week. Start Dunk, Nico, or Harrison. If I have to start one, I'll probably start Nico Williams. Thoughts on Saka and Archer out for Isaac and Longstaff and some free money for the future? I won't do it. I know Saka isn't the best option to have, but I mean, and I know that Archer to Isaac is probably giving you that flexibility. Maybe look for a different option. I think Longstaff is 5.5 or maybe 5. We'll just quickly check that. 4.4. I mean, if I'm going for, if you can make the money work, maybe a Da Silva. I know Da Silva is 4.6, so that's a different price point, slightly different price point. But if you are going for a 4.4 midfield option, I mean, maybe go for a different player. I know 4.4 really doesn't really give you a lot of guarantee in terms of even starts, but I see here that Longstaff has started the last two games. Maybe could be a decent option. Even Reed from Fulham could be decent if you have a 4.5. In case if you don't, maybe just keep Longstaff. But yeah, I mean, he's mostly going to be on your bench. So yeah, good defender to bring in. Good defender to bring in for Robertson or keep. Robertson is not a. Robertson is not an, depending on what your plan is for with Robertson, depending on, let's say if you are selling Robertson and if you have some additional money, what are you going to do with that additional money? If you're not really using it anywhere this week, you just want to keep it in the bank, maybe Robertson is a decent hold. If you have two free transfers, you can make the switch, downgrade a Robertson. There are a lot of ways to look at this, right? I mean, look at the Brighton defenders, maybe look at Nico Williams, maybe go towards maybe a Trippier as well. That will also give you about 2 million. And then what other upgrades you can make depending on that. I think if your team is already decent and you don't really need any significant upgrades, keep Robertson for this week. Thoughts on Anthony? I think he's gonna be good. To be very honest, really looking forward to seeing him play. Traditionally, he plays on the right, can also play on the left. It still doesn't solve our striker problem, to be very honest, and that's where my worry is from a United fan. But you know, if this is the Anthony that you're talking about, uh, I think he'll be good. If this is Gordon you're talking about, which is I think Anthony Gordon, I think he's also a decent option to go for. Everton have tough games, but yeah, could be decent. Trippier or Walker, Trippier has a higher upside, can get you more points. Uh, Walker most likely is a 6 pointer or a 1 or a 2 pointer, considering how many goals Man City would probably concede in that fixture. Trippier has that attacking upside which a Walker doesn't give you. So I think Trippier definitely better. Isaac or Tony in a wild card. On a wild card, I'll probably go Isaac. I can see him for a couple of weeks. The fixtures are better as compared to somebody like a Mitrovic. And when Mitrovic is playing Forest, and I think game week 8, that is when you can make that switch. And that also gives you enough time to see Isaac as well. I know it's not enough time maybe, but a couple of weeks might just give you some idea in terms of what to do, or how is Isaac at least fitting into the Newcastle structure. How is he playing, in that striker position? How the other players kind of playing around Isaac. I think that's also very important to note. But yeah, I think Isaac on a wild card. Whom to start? Pick one. Nico, Odegaard, Mitrovic. Out of these, I mean, it's a tough call to be very honest, because Mitrovic, yes, it's not easy, but I think going by all the three picks in isolation, I think Nico Williams definitely stands out considering that he's playing Bournemouth, who have not looked that great in attack. So there's a clean sheet potential. There is a clean sheet in there. There is also a haul potential, considering that Bournemouth have looked a bit weaker in defense. So I think if I have to start one, I'll probably start Nico Williams. Excuse me. Ramsdale or Raya. And Ramsdale will definitely have or give you slightly higher clean sheet potential, but Raya on the other hand is making a lot of saves. To be very honest, if Arsenal can keep clean sheets, then it has to be Ramsdale. But yeah, I mean, from a premiumness, or from if you look at this move in isolation, I think Ramsdale definitely is looking better, but he might not be value for that 5 million, considering that, let's say, if Arsenal are not keeping clean sheets and he's not even making saves, then I think Raya is the better option to go for. I'm okay. I'm, in fact, if you ask me, I think Sanchez is a sort of a combination of both, where he's giving you some clean sheet potential, he's also giving you some save point potential, and I think he's the slightly better option to go for, in case if you, I mean, in case if he can enter that conversation. I mean, he's definitely better. If not, I'll still say maybe Raya, because you can jump onto a Saliba, you can jump onto a Gabriel, for example, who might have a slightly higher goal threat, whereas Ramsdale might not give you a lot of potential. Now, considering that Arsenal are not even making, or Arsenal are not even conceding a lot of shots. Henderson or Sanchez, Sanchez for sure. Edison, Cucurella, and Fofana to Sanchez, Walker, and Trippier for a hit. Um, I mean, Fofana, I'm not sure whether he starts this week or not. I mean, he can, but it's not an easy game, anyways. Long term, I think Sanchez, Walker, and Trippier look good. There's a chance that Walker can get a few, or maybe get a rest here and there, maybe somewhere. But yeah, I mean, for a hit, maybe not. I mean, I don't know what these moves, or which of these moves you can do without a hit. But I still feel maybe not for a hit this week. I mean, Edison is capable of keeping a clean sheet. Cucurella can get an attacking return. West Ham haven't really looked that solid in defense. Fofana is somebody I'm not very sure of whether he'll start or not. So he's a problem in there. And if you, you know, feel that you probably need to take him out, etc., I mean, yeah, then it's okay. Ben Zaha, Harrison, or Walker. If I have to bench one, I'll probably bench Walker. I know it's Aston Villa, but Zaha and Harrison definitely have more potential. It also depends on how you look at the game, right? If you want to play very safe, then you definitely play Walker. You maybe bench Harrison and you bench Zaha. You play Zaha because of the fact that he's the inform option right now. But I'm a player who probably tries to look at the higher upside, look at the attacking potential, and play a slightly bit riskier than normal or than usual. And I because of that reason, I feel Zaha and Harrison have higher upside. They're more exciting picks, to be very honest. Walker is more or less a 6 pointer if Man City can keep a clean sheet, which they can, considering that Villa aren't really a great attack. Is Neto a better pick to start compared to Nico and Martinelli? I don't think so. I think both. I mean, if I have to call all three out, it would be Nico Williams this week, followed by Martinelli, then maybe Neto. Still feel even against a West. I mean, we saw even against a Bournemouth team who looked short and out, and down on confidence. Wolves weren't able to score a goal, so and that's my worry there. And even if Wolves score, I mean, how much of Neto is going to be involved in it? I'm not too sure. I lost faith in that pick, to be very fair. So I still feel Nico Williams is the best option out of these three. Mount or Dyer to start. Um, I mean, Mount definitely has more attacking upside, so I'll start him. I don't think so. I mean, there are high chances that Spurs don't keep a clean sheet in this one, so I think Mount. Ben Zaha, Harrison, or Walker. I've already answered this. Should I sell Cucurella? Not a priority sell, but if you don't have anything else to do, depending on which player you're getting as well, maybe you're selling this player to gain some value, get in some money, save some money, keep it on your bank, keep it in your bank so that you can maybe make future moves, etc. I don't know what the motive here is, but it's not an immediate sell. It also kind of depends on what player you're getting in this week. Guys, have we reached? Oh, we've kind of gotten the. I didn't even realize it's 3:30 and I think it's deadline. Sorry for the last couple of questions. I couldn't answer them. I think went a little slow there. Gibbs White plus Mitrovic, or Almiron plus Tony for the next two. I think Gibbs White plus Mitrovic looks a lot more promising. Almiron would be on the bench most times. Gibbs White, Mitrovic for sure. Should I start Rodrigo so that a highest pointer among Trippier and Nico Williams can come on? You can just start Nico Williams, has a better fixture. Play to Martinelli, Jesus and Nico Williams. Start Dallo, Da Silva, or Pereira. Um, I mean, if I have to start one, I'll probably start Pereira. I think of all these options. Great guys, I didn't even realize it's 3:30 and 3:30 IST and we've reached deadline. Thank you so much again for joining in. I'm still a bit dazed in terms of the deadline. Didn't realize that there. But yeah, all the best for this game week. I hope you have a great week. I hope Haaland starts. I hope all of your players, or at least Nico Williams, because he's been hyped a lot. I mean, he has the potential to do really well this week, and I think there is a high chance that that he does really well, gets a good haul. Let's just hope that happens. Let's just hope that we can get some points from Nico Williams. I'm really really hoping that Haaland. I know Haaland captaincy this week. I'll be really interested to see the effective ownership etc. for Haaland. I think there'll be a lot more captainers this week. I know a lot of people would also be a little careful because high chances that Haaland maybe gets benched for this week. But I think there is potential in there, for a Haaland haul. We'll stick around for a few minutes in case if you have anything to add, guys. In case if you have anything to talk about, uh, anything that you want to share, please feel free to do that. We'll stick around for a few minutes and we probably, uh, you know, uh, call it a day. In case if you've not liked to subscribe to the stream, please feel free to do that. We've been doing almost daily FPL content on YouTube. We are very active on Instagram as well. Our handle is at the rate insanely football, so you can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube as well. We do a lot of FPL content, and in case do let me know if you guys would be interested to play the UCL fantasy as well. I'm actually planning to start content on UCL fantasy. I'm also playing it myself. So in case if you guys are interested to watch out content, maybe a deadline stream as well and all that good stuff, we can also think about that. But I'll be really interested to know if you guys will be interested in UCL fantasy. It is actually quite interesting, and I think gives you a little bit break from FPL as well. I know for a lot of people it might be a bit too much as well, but yeah, do let me know if you are interested. Bit of fear in my captain decision, but I don't want to back again. I mean, backing against Erling Haaland, yes, it becomes a bit trickier considering the fact that Haaland is in such great form, and Man City has been doing really well. Uh, Salah, on the other hand, hasn't looked the same Salah, or the same player since a long time. But yeah, I mean, could be interesting this week because it's a derby game. It's the Merseyside derby, so there are chances that things could get a little tastier and get could get a bit fiery. That also makes the game a lot more interesting because of the fact that Everton would want to beat Liverpool in any form or manner, and this is probably a right time to play Liverpool as well because they haven't really looked very confident in defense. They have a few players injured. Yes, they would be getting the likes of Darwin Nunes and Diego Jota back as well. So their attack is still okay, but yeah, defensively there are holes to be plucked in there. I forgot to bench Saliba for Williams. That's okay. It's not a big mistake. I mean, Arsenal could still keep a clean sheet. It's not that straightforward, but yeah, I mean, Williams definitely has more potential. But again, if you've missed that, I mean, there's no point of crying over spilled milk, right? I mean, just forget about it. Just enjoy the games. Just look forward to the games as well. For your sake, I hope that Williams doesn't do much damage to you, and Saliba. I won't say that Saliba would keep a clean sheet because I want United to win. I want United to score because Arsenal's going to be a good test considering that Arsenal have been playing really well. They have been. They have been. I mean, they're top of the table, right? So they are the informed team. So let's see. Let's see. Nunes starting. I mean, I thought you did buy Nunes on a wild card, but yeah, the expectation was definitely there that Nunes will start this game. So not really surprised there. Simicas, Carvalho, and Nunes all starting. So are Diaz and Salah. So I'm assuming that Robertson gets benched. Um, Trent gets benched as well. And wildcard had to stick with my Kane punt. Let's hope that he does well. Kane has potential. I mean, there is no denying that fact that Kane doesn't have potential this week. Great guys. I think we'll call it a day. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Wildcard active, nervous. I mean, do let me know what your wildcard team is. I think it'll be interesting. A lot of people. I mean, it's not still the ideal team. Time to wildcard because a lot of the teams are template. A lot of the players and picks are template, and a few players, or a few people, or a few managers who've kind of gone the other way or gone a different way have, and then maybe have got it wrong, are quite nervous about falling behind, or falling more behind, and then pressing that wildcard button. That the logic kind of makes sense, but yeah, I mean, if your team is pretty much a template team, I don't see a need of using the wildcard. My wildcard team was almost similar to your team. Hence, I mean, yeah, if the wildcard team is this, which I have on the screen, I don't see my team is okay. It's. I mean, still could be made better in a couple of areas, but if the wildcard team is this, then probably it's maybe not enough uh, upside or enough potential to use the wildcard. Excuse me. Raya, Trent, James, Cancelo, Trippier, KDB, Martinelli, Trossard, I mean, Trossard, Nunes, great picks, to be very honest. Little envy of that. I think as punts, they could be good. Nunes, we've seen that he was playing really well. And I don't think so. A lot of people would be jumping onto Nunes because they would have Haaland, they would have Jesus. A lot of people are scared about Jesus's ownership. I know that he hasn't been on fire or as good as maybe a Haaland, for example. May not be as well. But a lot of people have gone for Mitrovic, Tony, or even Isaac as their third striker because they don't have that extra million or so in attack or in among their forwards, because that money is maybe invested in defense, especially if they have the likes of Trent, Cancelo, etc. Maybe even in midfield if they have a Salah and a Diaz, and maybe let's say like a Martinelli, for example. So I think yeah, I mean, depends on how these players do. I still feel they're both really really good options. I still feel Nunes and Trossard could do really really well. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting, to be very honest. Lots to look forward to, guys. Do watch football. I mean, it's really really important. Do watch football. Do see all the games. See what's happening. See what outputs and what takeaways you can have from these games. Of course, we'll help you guys in terms of having a post, in terms of breaking down every game week that we've been doing so far. So do watch out for that post as well. We do it on Instagram. We post it on Instagram. So if you've not followed us on Instagram, make sure that you do that so that you can stay updated with all the latest updates, latest FPL information. I will be mostly be starting UCL fantasy content as well. We'll share more details maybe on Twitter as well as on Instagram as well. So do look out for that space. And yeah, let's see. I think really looking forward to the week, hoping that Haaland starts and comes good as captaincy. I've missed a couple of hat tricks of Haaland. Yes, Salah did kind of cover up in the last game. I can't really say covering up because there was still a 7 point difference between Salah and a Haaland. But I think looking forward, excited, and I hope you guys have a great week as well. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Couple of more minutes, guys. We'll stick around for a couple of more minutes, and then we'll possibly leave. Great. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys very, very soon. Stay tuned for more updates on the UCL fantasy as well. And yeah, in case if you're interested, in case if you want something specific in that, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or on Twitter. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Have a great week. Keep smiling. Bye bye.